All right. Good morning. Buenos dias. Welcome to today's broadcast, the morning show with Jamie. It is November 22nd. Let us get this party started. All right. Hope you all had a great night of sleep. Got you some good rest. Had a chance to look at your charts and get ready for today's trading session. In pre-market, the Dow Jones is up slightly, 0.04%. The S&P, I said Dow. I meant to say Dow futures. If I didn't say futures, my apologies. The S&P futures and the NASDAQ futures are both down slightly as well, 0.08% and 0.19% respectively. Europe, last reported, all up. Everybody's up. Asia is mixed, mostly up, with HSI, which is Hong Kong, and Shanghai, both down. HSI is down 1.89%, and Shanghai is down quite a bit in comparison, 3.06%. Right. Last reported for us, everything was up, us being the United States. Everything was pointed up. The VIX currently is down 1.46%. It's down 16.63. Right? Earnings. As of yesterday, after close, we had a couple things that were reporting, not just in the tech space for Elastic, Intuit, and NetApp, but also Ross and Gap both reported as well. Today, Global Blue reported. That's in the tech, over in the tech sector, between hardware and software. I'll put that on the software side of tech. But other than that, there was nothing. I would say, NVIDIA would be probably the biggest standout of this week of earnings, of course. And we can head on over to, actually, let's look at this first. For our ForexFactory calendar, let's do it this way. Move these over. For our ForexFactory calendar, we have two red folders: Flash Manufacturing PMI, Flash Services PMI. Okay, that's what we're doing. Flash Manufacturing PMI, Flash Services PMI. That's going to be coming up pretty soon. We also have an orange folder. So 9:45 is for those two. 10 o'clock, orange folder, revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment, right? And then a yellow folder, revised University of Michigan inflation expectations. Okay. Then once we're out of the market, 6:15 p.m., then that's FOMC member Bowman is speaking. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe these are already Eastern time, so we don't have to do any type of conversion for those. Right? So that's for our ForexFactory calendar. This, our investing.com setup. We got some pretty interesting things happening here. There's always a little bit of extra stuff that you see with investing.com. All right. We got the S&P Global U.S. Manufacturing PMI. It's 3 stars over here. Right. Global Composite PMI for November. Both of those for November. S&P Global Services PMI, 2 and 3 stars respectively. We got the University of Michigan expectations for 1 year and 5 year. And for November, both of those are 2 stars as well. And the consumer expectations over here is 2 stars. Consumer sentiment, again, Michigan consumer sentiment, 2 stars. And the current condition is 1 star. And of course, all of that is going to be reported at the same time. But that information, those are the levels of impact, if you will. 1 o'clock, we got the U.S. Baker Hughes oil rig count. That's 2 stars, as well as the total rig count. Okay, that's at 1 o'clock. And then 3:30, we have the CFTC the speculative net positions, and that is a mixture of 1 and 2 stars. Aluminum, copper, corn, crude oil, gold, NASDAQ 100, natural gas, S&P 500, silver, soybean, and wheat. These are the speculative net positions, right? Crude oil, gold, NASDAQ 100, S&P 500. Those are the ones that are the 2 stars of that group, right? Then 615 again, 2 stars over here for FOMC member Bowman. Just want to point this out. So this is an example of when we were at some point in the recent past, we were discussing that ForexFactory and the colors of their folders don't always match exactly to the number of stars on investing.com. That's just something to be aware of. But for example, if you look over here on the left, anytime, and I would encourage you to explore the ForexFactory calendar. But if you look over here to the left, this legend over here lets you know what these colors represent. All right. Red folder is high impact. Orange folder is medium impact. Yellow folder is low impact to the economy. Well, over here, we have a low impact expected for FOMC member Bowman speaking over here on the ForexFactory calendar. But on investing.com, it's 2 stars. So 2 out of 3 stars over here, they might see that as a higher impact. So I'm just pointing it out to be aware of why it behooves us, I guess you could say, to be aware of what's a red folder on one side, what's a 3-star on the other side, just in case they may not necessarily line up. That does not mean that one is more right than the other. It just means that, that's more information that we can use to our advantage, right? Over here, you'll see it down here on this legend. 2 stars is moderate volatility, right? Moderate volatility at 615. The other one was saying something a little bit different. So this is measuring the volatility. The other one is measuring the impact. May or may not be, something that would affect us, but we want to be prepared just in case. Okay. Good morning to everyone. Lisa Henry, JG, I don't know if that's Janae or not. Ward Wilson, good morning. Hope you all had a restful day, restful morning, restful evening, I should say. My apologies. All right. This is the Mancini numbers, okay? Yesterday, as per Wednesday, 3 p.m. newsletter, I was looking for a rally to 59.61 through 69. It's flag resistance from the November high in SPX. After an 80-point rally, we hit it exact and sold. Plan 59.42, 59.35 are the supports. And there's the bell. If it keeps 59.53, 59.61 is live. Base more, then 59.79 plus. But if 59.35 fails, we dip to 59.23, 58.98. All righty. Let's take a look. Let's take a look, see at our XPX. We're going to put these on the chart. So what we need is 59.35. Be on here because that is the one. As a matter of fact, I want to give it. You can definitely see that below that one. We out of here. All right. We're going to put 59.23. And these are some numbers close to the numbers that we have had on here already. Right. This is the range that he gave, 58.98. It's the range that he gave. So if it breaks here, this is the range that he gave for where it could fall. All right. Now, since we like to see our money, so 59.42 would be supports, and that's what this would be right here. So I'm going to put 59.42 support. So we'll have it in there. And it's a nice support range, by the way. Right? So 59.42, 59.35, right? So we got this and this. So this is the linchpin right here, down here. If it breaks past this, we drop in. This is the support for the range that goes with it. All right. 59.79. So we got 59.53. I'm going to put that on here as well. And I'm going to actually change the color. So we are putting this on our charts so that we have an idea. And I have it as green because that's our money. 59.61. So we'll be able to sit and watch this and see what happens. Let's put live since that's the vernacular that he uses. Live for this one and live for the other one. All right. And I will change the color of that because it's probably going to be too dark for the... So I'm trying to always keep in the smaller devices that people might be watching on because I know how much harder it is to see on those. All right, so we got these two as support. We got these two live. Okay, so as long as, and we got to do 59.79. That's our last one. It has on here. Said 59.79 or higher. Right. All right. 59.79. So we could go up here, base up here in this area, and then keep it moving. I'm gonna delete this one. This is that's what we got going on. All right. So all of these that have Mancini on it are his numbers. So these will be the ones that I will definitely be watching throughout the day. Okay. This is the Mancini chart. All right. We're going to get ready to, in a minute, mark the 15-minute candle. If anybody, hey, Tamar, good morning, Nordy. If anybody has any tickers that they want looked at, now would be the time to drop the ticker. You are so interested. All right. This, lines that I'm putting in on SPX, this is simply on the 15-minute chart. And all I did on here was switched my, it's called a drawing set. Down here in the right corner, you can name your drawing set. This is a Thinkorswim. If you're on Thinkorswim, you can create a drawing set, or you can put whatever you need on there and save it as a drawing set, so that I don't have to always clutter up every single one of my charts with different information. I just created a different drawing set. So I got one that's called swing points, for example. So this is typically where all price turned around, where price is turned around at. So that's something that you may be interested in. It's down here in the right corner. It's called a drawing set. So now, whenever I'm putting something together on a chart, I don't have to lose it. I can always just name it as a drawing set and still have that information. But anyway, on this 15-minute chart, I like to always mark the turnaround points that I see that could be levels, which might be different from some of the prices that Mancini put on there. But for those who trade the 15-minute breakout, those are the levels in particular that I'm referring to. So these turnaround points is what I will be expecting to see what will happen. So when it's time to do the 15-minute breakout, I'll be having a watchful eye. So I'll just leave those there for right now. Right, so that's just basically on my default chart. Okay. All righty. We want to look at Russell. Same deal, same 15-minute chart. I shouldn't say same 15-minute chart, but also a 15-minute chart. This is Russell 2000. Right, this is the swing points chart as well, where prices turned around. Green is for daily, orange is for 4-hour, blue is for monthly, yellow is for weekly, etc., etc. I could do a default on this one just to show you a different look, but basically that would be this. That was literally just another version. This is actually the default one, but I can clear this one. Right, this is a 15-minute chart on the Russell 2000. Right, and we marked the first candle, the first 15-minute candle, and some of us trade the breakout. That is a whole entire strategy. Right, so for right now, I'm just going to put in a couple areas that I see where price turned around. It actually just passed through one recently on the 15-minute chart. Then after this, we're going to swing by and see how SPY is doing, which is, of course, like looking at SPX, same chart. But also, we're going to take a look at what has happened with NVIDIA. Right, since the grand announcement of earnings. Right, I do have a couple other charts that we can swing by based on news. Let's talk about tech, baby. So here's the thing. Before we get to SPY, let's do this. Mara, who we did used to trade some time ago. Mara, who is also tied to Bitcoin. If you know anything about Bitcoin, Bitcoin is on the run up. So Mara is a Bitcoin miner. So for those of you who are not familiar with Bitcoin, the most, let's say the easiest way to explain it is each one of those Bitcoins is mined, which is, if you think of a gold mine with a pickaxe, same idea, except digital. There's a process that has to go to it. It's a very energy-intensive process and hardware-intensive process, by the way. But that's how those coins are mined. And Mara is one of the companies that they're probably the biggest crypto miner. So what's happening with them is they're raising $1 billion to buy some more Bitcoin, as well as pay off some debts. So for those who are into Bitcoin, I won't say all cryptocurrency. I know some people will be more into Bitcoin than the altcoins, but just to be aware that when you have somebody buying that much or at least announcing that they're buying that much in Bitcoin, obviously you also know, I'm sure, that there's a current run-up on Bitcoin, right? It's not inconceivable that it'll be over $100,000 pretty soon. So with an announcement like Mara announcing that, then you got chances that Bitcoin is going to go up. And if Bitcoin goes up, guess what else that means? that means that there's a chance that Coinbase will be affected, right? Because Coinbase is tied to Bitcoin. You see how these dots are starting to connect? So Coinbase is also tied to Bitcoin. Don't forget, in case you didn't know. So I'm putting these levels on the Mara chart just to be on the safe side, and just to put some context in here. I don't want you to think Mara is at all-time highs. It is not. It just has some recent levels that it may be trying to hit. Okay, so it's not at all-time highs, but these recent highs are, in my opinion, attainable. Okay, so this is Mara. This is what it's looking like. It is currently in the seller zone, leg in, base, leg out. So it is in the seller zone. Let's revisit the seller zone. Okay, so it's a Mara. Keep in mind they're buying a bunch of Bitcoin, right? Raising money to buy some Bitcoin. So they raised $1 billion. I'm not saying that they're buying $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, but I'm saying they're raising $1 billion, and they've already announced that to buy some more Bitcoin. I want to make sure I phrase that correctly. Buying Bitcoin is part of the reason why they're raising that money. Okay. The other thing to be aware of in that similar space, of course, you got MicroStrategy, which some of us have recently been talking about. MicroStrategy is a company that holds the most Bitcoin currently. Okay, and they are also announced that they, I shouldn't say they announced it, but it's no surprise or no secret to anybody that they intend to buy some more Bitcoin as well. They own something like 331,000 Bitcoin. However many it is, it ends up coming out to something like $30 billion. It's like some crazy number, $30 billion worth of Bitcoin. All right. So the price of Bitcoin could very well be getting pushed up by what they're doing. So we're noticing that Bitcoin is on a run up. And if anybody's wondering why, I can give you those two reasons as these recent announcements have come to fruition. This is the daily chart for MicroStrategy. And all I'm really doing is just marking the buyer and sellers levels just to see where they currently are as of right now. So there's their leg in, base, leg out, seller zone, buyer zone are actually close together, right? And right up under here, there's a gap. So even though this is a buyer's zone formation, I would expect there to be some buyers in here. I also expect with this gap right here, there's even more buyers sitting there waiting for the price to come down. Now, obviously, we don't know how high it'll go up, but seeing as though we're watching Bitcoin take off. Now, the other reason why Bitcoin, that's also adding to this could be that the president-elect is a crypto-friendly president. That could help. Also, there are ETFs that are Bitcoin related that will be that already have been released into the market. So Bitcoin, do not be surprised if those numbers continue to climb, but also don't be surprised if the stocks, the tickers associated with Bitcoin start taking off as well. Okay, so this is MicroStrategy sitting right here in the middle It just had a pullback. And where it is sitting, it's Iron Condor territory where it is currently sitting. Just saying. I don't like these numbers, how this looks on the options chain. But Iron Condor, because it's kind of sitting right here in the middle. This blue line that you're seeing is line at price. So whenever current price is moving, this line is what's telling me where current price is, regardless of where I am inside the chart. All right, so that's how I know it's sitting in between the buyers and the seller zone. Okay. So after the first 15 minutes, we can go back and mark our calendars. I'm gonna swing by SPY. Gonna swing by. I'm gonna take a look at SPY, and then gotta make sure I tell y'all what's going down with Google that you're gonna want to be aware of. We have been talking about that Google a little bit. So this is SPY, also SPX 500. It's an ETF. As you can see, this is trying to head up towards, well, it's already in the seller zone as far as I'm concerned, but we charted this, was it earlier? We charted it, I think, earlier this week. And put this right here, okay? So according to our Mancini numbers, believe the higher number was like 596. Is that right? Was the higher number? 597. 597 was the higher number for Mancini. Let me rephrase that. 59.79 or higher was the number that he said. So we may see on some people will put SPY numbers. What is that? 10% of that. I know XSP is the other one. We got I probably should be looking at XSP, but as far as the chart right now, let's stick to the representative legs that we used to. There's a whole bunch of buyers sitting in here, so this is something to be aware of when this comes back down. Plus, we have this happening right here for this gap, so plenty of support right there. I won't even look at the options chain because it's too early to tell. I won't even do it. This is Google. What's the news on Google? Well, we were talking about earlier this week. I was talking about the Department of Justice has set its sights on Google, accusing it of antitrust. Basically, one of the things that they're talking about doing is, trying to talk Google into getting rid of Chrome. We were talking about the fact that Apple could be impacted by that as well. This is going to be whatever the Department of Justice is doing. It looks like they're trying to make that as soon as this upcoming year, 2025. It looks like it's when they're going to start kind of ramping up whatever it is they're going to be doing. But one thing that could also be affected by this, there's many other things, but Firefox. I don't know how many people use Firefox, Mozilla, but they could be impacted as well with this Google situation, because just like Safari, Firefox uses Google's search engine as its base, right? So if you're using Firefox, you basically are using, Google Chrome. We could say that for a whole bunch of, web browsers, but some are more tied into that search engine than others are. So that is something to be aware of as well. So it may impact Alphabet, Firefox, Mozilla is another one. Those two browsers. I know Safari, Chrome, and Google. And I'm sorry, let's see, Safari, Firefox, yeah, and Google Chrome are probably the main three that I use. I mean, obviously Microsoft Edge, but there may not be for the user side any big things happening, but meaning our interface might not change, but what happens in the background could definitely be of note. And if it's happening of note, it could be impacting our stock charts. So as of right now, Google had dropped into a buyer zone. Buyers pushed this up. There was a gap right here. Something you might want to be aware of if you trade Google, which I know some of us do. So that Department of Justice information could very well impact our stock charts. News is one of the things that helps move price along. So we definitely want to be aware of what's happening. So that is some constant news that will be coming through. All right. So let's swing back to SPX and mark our 15-minute charts. And actually, we'll do it this way. So this, actually, I don't got to torture you out with all those lines. So this is the first 15-minute candle on SPX. What we normally do is we wait to see which way it will break out. And then we make decisions based on there. Okay. Let's see what happens. And we'll do the same thing for Russell 2000. See what Russ talking about. All right. This is the first candle. Let me pull this down. Alrighty. Had a gap up as well this morning. All right. Of course, it has not broken out yet. Well, actually, it has. RUT has. All right. Here to here. So, yeah, it is definitely broken out. Okay. This is where we're on the 15-minute chart for Russell 2000. I'm just looking at this area as an area where it could stop. There's a couple of them that I think would be provide plenty of potential. That's the one that I'll be watching. It could turn around right here. And retrace. That's one thing that we can look for in that mix, whether or not it retraces. All right. And then the last one would be NVIDIA. These are the gaps. Oh man, this is, let me tell you how much I don't like this. Let me clear this one. This is a good, I like this buyer zone down here. But man, this seller zone is ugly. The base candle here, this is on the daily chart for NVIDIA. This base candle here, like literally ruins what we normally would say is a seller zone formation. Generally, depending on where you learned how to chart, but if you learned where I learned, leg in, base, leg out, this small base represents a change in direction. Normally, we like for that base candle to be smaller. Definitely don't like it when the base candle is longer than the leg in or the leg out like this. So this is one of those ones. I mean, you could switch to a weekly. You know, you might see a little something, but because of that middle candle, I'll be more likely to check in the 4 hour to see if there's something there like this. Not that this is the greatest formation, but it is a formation if you're just looking for buyer and seller zone. This is not investment advice by any stretch of any part of my wildest imagination. Okay. But if you're just looking for zones to be able to have something visual to see, which is basically why I always, even if I'm not trading something, I will chart the zones just to see what it looks like. That's what I'll be looking at, something like that. I can always go up higher on that candle. Look for something back here. This could be one as well. But the problem is this right here. Anything to the left of this, it has ran through that price, which is the reason why I chose actually this particular area, unless something is like super high up there at the top. All right. Won't geek out. Oh, geek out. I'm gonna end my geekydom right there. Let's see what else is back here. But I am curious to know what else is back here. If we got something. Let me just check on NVIDIA. I like NVIDIA, but I definitely think NVIDIA is not something that I've seen people, yeah, I'm gonna do a call credit spread. I'm like, okay. Probably gonna end up losing some money, cuz. All right. So that's what I'm looking for right now. It looks like it's trying to do a pullback, but I don't expect that to last long. So for right now, that would be my seller zone. But I'll be waiting for this to come down personally, unless you're gonna be up here in the rafters with it. All right. Okay. Enough talk about that. Let us swing on over to our latest stock. Our latest indexes. The Dow Jones is up 0.75%. S&P 500 is up 0.38%, and NASDAQ is up 0.14%. The Russell 2K is up 0.75%. The VIX is down 4.51%. Wall Street is on track for a winning week. I hope that you had a winning week as well. Okay? I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed, that you had a winning week as well. The Option Seller Zone membership with Educator 2, the number 2 trader, at Educator, the number 2, trader.com is available. Okay, support a community, profitable strategies for less screen time, daily profits to grow your account, training and support. You can join us at Educator 2, the number 2, trader.com. Today's Friday, the 22nd. We do have a chart and trade tomorrow. Our chart and trade kicked off on November 11th. It's a 6-week chart and trade. I call it a program. I don't know what the technical definition of it, but we can call it training, but I like program. Makes me feel good to say that. We have YouTube Live on Sunday at 5 o'clock. YouTube.com/@educator, the number 2 trader. Right? Number 2. And number 2 is very important. Our E2T daily declaration. I am a successful trader. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. Money likes me. Because money is comfortable around me, it is drawn to me. E2T daily prayer. Lord, give us wisdom and knowledge for our trades today. Help us to make smart and lucrative decisions for our portfolios. Okay. Before you jump in, please make sure you swing by the ForexFactory calendar and or the investing.com calendar. Make sure you're not about to get in when there's about to be some type of volatility, okay? Right? We want you to stay green. We want you to get this money, but we also want to be profitable traders if possible. All right? Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you. Again, hope you had a profitable week. If nothing else, we will see you on Sunday, hopefully, or next week. All right? Monday, 9:20. Thank y'all for joining. Truly appreciate you, and we will talk to you guys later.